Okay, yeah, so this is going to be a very odd video. I normally don't do response videos at all. I personally am not the type of person that likes to go into drama or anything of that nature. But, I feel as though this is something that needs to be addressed because what I saw really offended me as a person, as a fan. And yeah, I'm just going to address it. So what I'm referring to literally yesterday night, evening, um, there's an employee at Collider named Jack Hine who decided to tweet something that was very inconsiderate and very condescending. And I'll pull up the tweet on the screen, and he basically said, I'll read it out once I get it pulled up. Okay, let's see. Okay, here it is. He basically retweeted what Scott Mantz had posted, which Scott Mantz is an amazing guy. He said, I wonder why Collider chose to focus their resources on industry professional content and not daily movie commentary and fart jokes. This is what Jack Hine tweeted yesterday on Twitter. Now, mind you, this was brought to my attention. I didn't go looking for it. Like, someone tweeted me and said, "Hey, did you see what Jack Hine tweeted about Collider?" And then I saw a lot of people, like I saw John Campea respond on Twitter to Jack, and I've also saw Ken Knapsack from Collider respond to Jack as well about the things that he said. And Jack also goes on a little bit further to say, why he said what he said about Collider. Now, I want to point out that I am not an employee of Collider. I don't personally know anyone from Collider. I have met the Collider talent here in Orlando. I've actually done some interviews with some of the Collider talent as well. So I know who they are, and what I'm about to say is not a reflection on the talent. I'm going to speak directly to Jack Hine about his comments, and not only towards his comments, I'm going to speak about Collider as a whole, not nothing against the talent, but Collider as a company, about why I feel the way I feel about that company after we just heard, what Jack Hine had said. So this is nothing against the talent of Collider. I am huge fans of theirs, still huge fans of theirs, and I would love to work with them in the near future. So Jack, if you're ever watching this video, I feel like you tweeting something like that was so asinine and so stupid. John Campea did a response video towards you. I don't know if you saw it or not. And I agree with a lot of the things that he said. And this is not me riding the coattails of John. This is me speaking as a fan. As a fan, for you to say something like that on Twitter is not only the most asinine and stupidest thing that I've ever seen, but it's the most condescending and just elitist attitude that I've ever seen in regards to being second in command of a media company. The reason why I'm saying all this stuff is because I was a huge fan of Collider. I watched Collider Movie Talk, Collider Heroes, and Jedi Council, and a lot of other content that you guys are putting out. I watched it. I remember when it was at AMC and I watched it. And the reason why I loved the content is because it had an inviting feeling of movie guys who loved the movie space when it came to actors, directors, and sets and content and original content. Like, I love the fact that there was an open discussion about movie news and movies that had came out, or movies that were coming out, and it was so inviting. And I have to say, as a fan of Collider and also as a content creator in general, when Mark Fernandez took possession of Collider back in 2017 or 2016, I said that this looks very different from what it was when it was at Complex. Now, I don't know the intricacies of, what happened and how it happened, but I do know that a lot of people started to leave over the course of time. John Campea was the first. Then you had Jeremy Johns. Then you had Mark Ellis, and then you had Christian Harloff was the last. And I said I felt like that was a turning point for Collider because we didn't even see Sinead DeFries that much anymore. Natasha was gone. Ashley Mova was gone. And once you took hold of what was going on at Collider, for me, it was like, it doesn't seem familiar anymore. I stopped watching Collider Movie Talk. I stopped watching Collider Heroes because the way you guys structured it didn't seem familiar to me anymore. And as a fan, as a creator, I did not want to continue watching something that I didn't feel like I was included in. So for you to say something like that shows that you didn't really give a damn whether we watched the content or not. You didn't care. You guys really think that focusing on premium content for celebrities and all this other stuff that you guys are doing, which is your right to do, is going to basically better the studio, Collider Studios, better its content. And for me, here's the thing. The content that you're focusing on did not make Collider what it is. Actually, it didn't. Collider Movie Talk and then these other shows is what made Collider what they were. So the fact that you're going to cease production on those shows just to focus on the celebrity BS, it's actually kind of fucked up. If I'm being honest, it's really kind of fucked up. Because again, no one, in my opinion, as a Collider fan, no one went to Collider solely because of deep fakes and solely because of comic book shopping. Comic book shopping was at its height when John Schnepp was running it. And again, this is no shot to any other talent, but comic book shopping was at its height when John Schnepp was running it. So for me to cancel all these shows to focus on this premium content, in my opinion, is a messed up thing to do. But let me just tell you something that most YouTubers and most people who, probably won't say. John Campea addressed it, so I'll address it as well. I said in my previous video, with all due respect, I see why you guys made your decision, and I see why you guys are going to continue pushing a certain vision for the company. That is your right to do. But and I agree with John, you ran Movie Talk to the ground. You ran Collider Heroes to the ground. Because you guys kept restructuring it in a way where you guys removed panelists, you shortened the host, you started bringing in people that we didn't know for free, talking about things that we could not I would say agree, but understand the points that they're coming from. And again, that has nothing to do with the talent. It's a leadership thing. When you are a leader of a company that's putting out prominent programming that makes the company what it is, you have to keep it strong and healthy. You guys screwed it. You screwed it. So you ran it to the ground. And one of the biggest issues that I had with Fernandez taking over, and again, this is not trying to shit on Fernandez, but you spread Collider so thin where you made Collider this hub of a plethora of content, which in essence is not a bad thing. But when you create things like Collider Sports, most movie fans are not sports fans, and vice versa. So for you to create a Collider Sports channel thinking that you're going to get a hub of sports fans that are also movie fans was an asinine thing to do. Now I can understand the gaming channel because there are a lot of gaming people who love gaming and movies. Those two things are somewhat synonymous to one another to a degree. Also, creating a interviews channel, you're interviewing celebrities that you talk about on Movie Talk, which you could have just brought that to Collider Video instead of making a second interviews channel, which didn't make sense to me. At the end of the day, I'm like, all right, you guys clearly didn't know what you were doing. And if Fernandez, if you're watching this, listen, again, I have nothing but respect for you. I've never met you, but I will say this. If this is how you're going to allow your second in command to act and talk about the fans of Collider that made Collider what it was, it shows me how much integrity you have in terms of running your company. This dude shitted on the graves of people's jobs, and not only that, he shitted on the fans by saying what he said. And he also goes on to say in Twitter, I'm sorry that people didn't watch all the content that you were in. It's not even about that. It's about the fact that we as fans still supported Collider in spite of the fact that you guys changed the format for these shows multiple times. So that's where I'm at with that. Jack, what you said was very asinine. And before I end the video, let me just say, Jack, at one point, because I know who you are, sir. I followed your career. You were reviewing TV shows and movies. You were doing that once. I remember a time where you were on a Flash review show. I also remember when you were reviewing stuff at Collider as well. Before you became second in command or what. So the fact that you decided to make these comments when you used to do the same thing at Collider and other streaming outlets as well, it's kind of an asinine thing for you to say. You of all people should have never said anything like that. So that's my response to Jack. I don't normally do response videos to anyone, but I will say if this had happened with any other person, I would have said the same exact thing. So Jack Hinds or anybody else isn't any different. And again, this is nothing against the talent at Collider because they did their jobs, they were what they were supposed to do. But Jack, you fucked up for that. You're very fucked up for that. But yeah, you guys have a good day.